The judges score the contest 48-46, 48-46, and 47-47 for the winner by majority decision, and still!
And still, ladies and gentlemen, the Undisputed African Fighting Podcast champion of the world. Welcome back to Fighting with Prince. This is your one championship news show, and with me today is the reigning defending undisputed ring champion of the world, chief analyst. He's, of course, Brother Gaia.
Let's go, bruh. Still undefeated.
And still, bruh, and still. Yeah, BG, what's happening, bruh? How's it going? You all good there? You also and still?
Life is good, bruh. Life is good. Can't complain. Had a good exercise session. Getting my protein in. Talking about fights. What can you complain about, right?
Here we go, bruh. So let's get straight into it, ladies and gentlemen. This is your one championship news show. We're gonna start with some fight news. It is official for one Friday fights 1-6. It is PTT versus Malatesta 2. We were looking back in the archives for PTT Malatesta 1. Didn't really find too much there, so maybe you can let us know in the comments where we can find that it is not on Tapology. But PG, give us your thoughts here, bro. Instant reaction to this one.
Dude, this is a all hype kind of fight. To be honest with you, super excited about it. Yeah, like you said, hard to find where that first fight was. I'm looking for information, and I was just like, I can't find it anywhere. But I'll leave that in the past. Fight's happening again, and if you know the two fighters, this fight should get you on the edge of your seat. I mean, Malatesta, I've been hyping him up for a while now. I've watched him fight in the one championship quite frequently, and I'm like, this kid is good. He's good. He still needs to level up some more. I mean, his last fight, he was up against what's my guy's name that you like so much? IQ 1000, and he lost that fight. And I mean, an easy odd IQ, right? He was able to really pick him apart. But I mean, other fighters that he's been up against, some really big names, Nanta Chai, Kampiti Wada, Fabio Reis, which they share opponent in Fabio Reis, by the way. Kind of tells you where Malatesta's actually at, you know. And then you've got PTT who's coming to, or Patata, however you want to say it, has come into one championship with probably the biggest hype I've seen. Maybe other than Takeru entering one championship, they've given this guy a lot of hype, and there was a very little to be desired on that performance. If I'm being honest, he lost that fight, by the way, split decision to a very young fighter in Elias Abdalali. And I remember we watched that fight together, and you asked me, so what's the hype deal? How do you feel? And I was like, I don't feel anything. And he showed me shades of a fighter that if he can't get you out there in the first round, then he's kind of like a pretty average fighter if you think about it. So whereas Malatesta, he kind of gets harder and stronger as the fight goes on. If you don't put him away in the first round, you know he's going to make it a dog fight. The only thing that really bothers me a little bit about Malatesta is that he's so boxing heavy. So it kind of makes him look a little bit one-dimensional, you know, because he doesn't kick that much. He just kind of hunts you down and lets the hands go, and that's why Yodaki was able to actually beat him in a very significantly easy fight. So this one, I'm expecting to go guns blazing. I'm expecting someone to get to finish, but in the same breath, it's like I also wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't happen. But in a nutshell, exciting matchup for one championship. I think it's on the same fight card as 1-6, which is already a unbelievably stacked fight card. So that just makes me more and more excited for the 26th of September. I can't wait for that day.
Yeah, I mean, it is stacking up to be a hell of a card. I'll just bring the one championship. I haven't really updated it yet, but as you can see, the main and co-main event, ladies and gentlemen, absolute cinema on the cards here. So very much looking forward to that. But yeah, there were a few more fights added to this card. I don't know why one championship was very slow to update the website. But I did see on X there were a few other fights, and also really big fights. I think it might be Sua Black Sexan. Might also be on this card. Yeah. So there's that.
Sua Black Sexan. There's quite a few. I think I have it here.
Yeah, I was trying to find it on X now, but I'm not really having
it. So it's Sexan, Malatesta, Mangtai, and Antakasim, and then Yodlik Pet Pompet number 2.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, absolutely hyped for that one. So yeah, big things on the cards here, ladies and gentlemen. And speaking of big things on the cards, BG, we have our boy, long time friend of the show, even though he has been shrouded in controversy recently surrounding the doping ban. We have Kimran Abati, who is set to make his return early next year, is what our boy Tsitsu here is telling us on X here.
Okay.
So we got a bit of training footage here. I'm just going to play that. So we'll have a look at what he's looking like. And then, yeah, you can just give us your thoughts on his return. Maybe who you'd like to see him fight, where he needs to start. I know you have touched on it in the past, but maybe you can just give us a quick refresher as we draw closer to the time. Play the damn clip. I'm just going to turn the volume off because I don't know if there's any copyright issues on that.
That's fine. I can hear it. Looking sharp. I mean, I can't hear anything, so which is fine. But he's looking sharp.
Juice free, hopefully.
Hopefully, still looks a bit jacked, but let's see what happens. Look. We said it before, and we will say it again, dude. This guy is a problem for the division. He's a problem for the bantamweight Muay Thai division. We were saying it back then. I'm not gonna change my tune about him, dude. Like, as much as I don't agree with what happened to him, like it's made me be lesser of a fan, but that doesn't mean I won't acknowledge how good of a fighter he actually is. You know what I'm saying? I see Ferrari's coming. He's fighting, I think, either this week or next week. Um, so he's also back, and then the two of them got suspended at the same time. But for Cameron Nabati, dude, at the end of the day, as much as I don't agree with what he did, and I'm always skeptical about fighters who are tested positive. But apart from that, fight style wise, he's basically the uncrowned champion. If we're being real, you know what I mean. And that makes me think about like who we should be fighting next. I remember when they spoke to him about fighting against Abdullah Dayakaev, and he said, no, that's his younger brother. He doesn't really want to fight against him. We know that Felipe Lobo is getting Kulab Dam. We know Agadi doesn't have a fighter yet. Super X taking on Yuki Yoza, and Nabil's taking on Anahachi, which is I think next week. No, it's not next week. It's that 26 card. And then obviously Dayakaev doesn't have a fight. Who else? Rambolek. I don't know if Rambolek's got a fight. It could be him, right? Because I think they're probably not going to give Nabati championship fights just yet. I don't think it's worthy either. He has to prove it again. You can't get suspended and come back and get straight into title contention. So he's gonna have to fight someone else. And I'm not too sure. I'm really not too sure who they would give him. I'm thinking maybe Rambolek. Maybe Rambolek just to keep him in the contention conversation. But I'm not too sure who else really. In terms of the top 5, I don't see it. Yeah, he's gonna have to do more. He's gonna have to do so much more to get into that top 5. Yeah, let's just put it this way. He's gonna have to give a tune-up fight first.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a massive party foul, bruh. You don't get caught popping for performance enhancers, but it's unforgivable. So yeah, as much as if you go back in the archives, ladies and gentlemen, and you watch our videos, you'll see how we were absolutely waxing lyrical about this guy.
Yeah.
Still am a big fan of his fight style. It's phenomenal, Brian. He was, like you said, he's the uncrowned champ. He was taking them all out, but can we really say that when he popped the steroids, bro?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be interesting to see him coming back. We're gonna be supporting him. Well, I am nonetheless. Hopefully he's gonna go clean now. And yeah, then we can see the best of Kimran Nabati once again. Because bro, he was, like we said, he was on quite the run before the incident. So, yeah, fair play. Let us know in the comments, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any thoughts. BG, do you have any final thoughts on Mr. Nabati here, bro?
I just hope that he comes back and like he's looking fine. There's none of this cheating stuff. And if he can stay clean, I think you will definitely win the fans over again, because up until that point he will, again, just like the John Jones situation of you'll always have an asterisk next to his name because of all the doping tests, and even coming out and admitting it a few times, whether he meant to or not, he admitted it regardless. But you still can't take away what was done. You know, be it as it may, yes, it was enhanced, but stylistically, like you don't get enhancements to make you punch cleaner. Your technique is your technique.
Doesn't change your technique, yeah.
Yeah, your technique is your technique. All it does is it makes you recover faster, maybe increases blood oxygen, your blood flow and your oxygen in your blood a bit better, so you can recover faster in between rounds. It'll give you that. You can go longer in terms of stamina. It'll give you all of those things. But in terms of how you fight, in terms of how you throw technique, that's how you train. That's got nothing to do with what enhancements you take in. So that's what I'm trying to say. Nabati stylistically is a nightmare. I mean, if you look at Abdullah Dayakaev, right? Dayakaev was beating everybody except for Yod IQ. Dayakaev is pretty much the same blueprint of what Kiamla and Nabati fights. They got very, very similar style. I mean, from the same gym. And they both fight. It's almost split in image in terms of how they fight. So if Dayakaev is looking so scary, then you can imagine what Nabati looks like. In my opinion, when Nabati comes back, you should probably consider going up to featherweight instead of bantamweight. I think that will be suitable for him because he's already such a big dude, and I think maybe the announcements came out because he was just trying to sustain that weight class that isn't really his natural size. He's a fucking massive bantamweight dude, just like Nico Carrillo. Like you guys couldn't make it, so you must go up and where it's a little bit more easy on your body, and you don't have to take anything to be enhanced, right? You can just fight at your natural weight. So, and I do think that there's more competition for him there. I just think that the bantamweight division is going to bully everybody. He's going to bully everyone.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just having some technical problems here, I think, PG.
Okay, no problem.
But yeah, I think I'm back now. So yeah, let me bring myself back here. Proof that I am, in fact, back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Fighting with Friends. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, all those good things. Before we move to our next story, we will now move to our next story. And it is, of course, Takeru Sagawa. Previewing his fight against Dennis Purich at 1-1-7-3. But ultimately, and more importantly, I think alluding to the rematch with Rodtang is definitely going to be on the cards here. So yeah, it's good to see it confirmed. I'll just bring that up on the screen and read what is said here. So he says, this is from Takeru. It's a hugely important bout for my career and one that could be a key step towards the final chapter, my rematch with Rodtang. That's why this is a fight I absolutely cannot afford to lose.
Yeah.
Which is true for the legacy, you know. Because if he loses to Dennis Purich here, it's like we're gonna start asking questions now, like, you know, was Takeru really that good?
Yeah.
So yeah, BG, give us your thoughts here, bro.
I mean, it was predictable. It was kind of predictable. Like we knew this was going to happen because there was a lot of question marks for where Takeru was at the fight against Rodtang the first time. Claims coming out that he wasn't healthy and so on. And I don't want to keep repeating it and make it sound like it's an excuse, but I can see why he's making this his final chapter because he doesn't really want to do a title run anymore. He was willing to retire last time already, but there was somehow people convinced him to stay around, and the simple fact that he's staying around means that all parties involved, when I say parties, I mean Rodtang as well, probably in the agreement that, okay, if he wins this fight, I'll give him that opportunity to get the rematch. If you say you want healthy, okay, let's do it again. Come healthy and let me beat you up again, kind of thing. So, and Rodtang won't say no because he knows for a fact that whoever fights Takeru, you're gonna get paid. You're gonna get a big bag fighting against him. Lose or win, you're gonna get a bag fighting against Takeru, and I think Rodtang won't say no to the rematch. And if you think about Rodtang, he also wants to kind of bring an end to his fighting career because it looks like he's quite happy playing football. I'm not sure if you saw the videos on X where he was playing professional football in Thailand and he's playing for a team in his league and he scored a good goal and he's looking quite happy doing it. So I think he kind of wants to move on from fighting. And that being said, it means that he only wants to do the super fights. I think after Nong O, he's probably going to take on Rodtang and then maybe call it from there. Take on Takeru and call it from there. But this all will only happen if Takeru actually beats Dennis Purich, which I think he will, but it'll be a tough fight for him. And I'm gonna say it now. I think the one championship brought Takeru over a little bit too late. They put him over when he was already 31, 32 years old. Right, he's been there now 3 years. He's gonna go on 34. His birthday was now a month ago. So, and also when a fighter, you and I both spoke about this before. When a fighter says stuff like "I'm thinking about retiring" or "I'm considering moving into the next phase of my life," then you should probably hang up the gloves already before you go out there and take a massive beating in your retirement fight. So that's where I'm at with Takeru at this point, and I think he's gonna beat Dennis Buric. I really do think he's gonna do it, not in the fashion that we all would maybe go and be like, look at the one punch knockout in the round 2, and let's give him the fight against Rotang. It's probably gonna be a 3-round decision, and then or maybe a late finish. Set up a Rotang fight, and I do hope that would be his last. Because I do think that there are other Japanese fighters that are much younger. Masaki is only 27 or 28 years old. The Yoshinari brothers or cousins are both 24 and 20, and the other one that fought last week, Okiwaki, is 20. There's a lot of other. There's Yu that's fighting for the kickboxing title, or is on his way for the kickboxing title. He's taking on was it Karilov, I think. So my point is, there's a lot of other Japanese hopefuls that we can look into that can become just as big as Takeru or even bigger. Just imagine what they can do with Naraka Yoshinari when he becomes 30 years old.
Yeah.
You know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
like you said, it seems like Takeru kind of paved the way for these guys to come
Yes.
into one championship. You know what I mean? He brought the hype,
Yeah.
he brought the market.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do agree with that, PG. Let us know your thoughts in the comments about that one. Do you think Takeru's going to get it done against Dennis Buric? And also, what do you make of the Takeru Rodtang rematch? Who gets it done there? Let us know in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, then we can move. And we were talking about this man yesterday, Maxim Bakhtin. I'll show you the finish again with the spinning elbow at One Friday Fights 121. We spoke quite a bit about him yesterday in our live recap, so be sure to check that out if you haven't yet, ladies and gentlemen. But the story that we want to get to here is that it's possibly Sinsamut who has said that he wants to test himself against the dangerous Russian Maxim Bakhtin. As Tetsuya has put it in the comments here, PG, how do you think this one will play out? And what are your thoughts here, bro?
I just have a difficult time getting excited about me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's something about him I find very cringy and like, why is this? You know what I mean? You see what he did recently? Sinsamut for me, he did this event for just for the people of Thailand. He puts on this persona, this character, and he gets into a boxing fight with whoever wants to step up in the public, anybody, right? And then he ends up beating up these people. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, why is he doing this, man? You're a professional contracted fighter who fought for titles. Why are you punching a bunch of random folks? Are you paying them for you to punch them? Like, what the hell's going on here? You know what I mean? He's got so much gimmicks that he's doing outside of the ring. I'm like, are you even training? Like, what are you doing, bruh? And you want to make calls like this? Are you even treating yourself like a professional? You know what I'm saying? And I've watched him fight. Like, I've watched Me fight. One of the early fighters I followed and started watching One Championship was when Me was fighting against Ursel frequently for the title. And I was like, oh, this is and I was impressed because I was like, you don't often see Thailand or Thai fighters that are this big, like his size. You know what I mean? He's literally like one of the only few guys that are competing at 170. Other than that, there's no one else that's big enough to do that in Thailand, from Thailand themselves, or at least on the surface or on the circuit of fighting. We don't see it. So whenever I see him make posts like this, Me and this is happening, then I kind of just go like, is this man even ready? Because this kid Bakhtin is looking at future championship status. He's looking at becoming, top guy out of Russia. Is Me prepared for that? Because Me is at the point of thinking about, what's next after fighting. With this guy, Bakhtin, 22 years old, he's thinking about, becoming the greatest name of all time. He's looking at making big statements in One Championship. So I think the fight will be great for both of them in different ways. For Sinsamut, it's like, okay, test yourself against a very young, hot prospect, but it's not really a top 5 guy. And then you got Bakhtin, right? If he beats Me, you take out the legend, you take out a former title contender, that catapults him even further than what he was intending to go. So there's more for Clan Me to lose than there is for Bakhtin to gain, to lose as well. He gains more out of it. So you need to really think about those things when making statements like this. Do I want to see the fight? No. I think Clan Me's got to fight someone else. I think Bakhtin deserves to fight a better, tougher challenge than that. Because Clan Me has been on a losing streak, bro. He hasn't really had a win. And when he took on newcomers, for example, Asawik beat. You know what I mean? Asawik just lost to Rangranwi. So I think Clan Me, because of his profile and because how big of a name he is in Thailand, he probably would still get this fight anyway. But I just think it's a waste, man. I think Clan Me should be fighting like what you call it, showcase fights. You know, like a rematch between him and Nicky Holskin. I know he beat Holskin, but I mean that could be a good rematch, right? A boxing fight, like a super rules fight. That's the kind of fight that Sinsamut is, because he's a showman. He's a character for the organization. He can make fans pay tickets, not because he fights well, but because he'll put on a show for the fans. You know what I mean? So I put him in the same category as a Nicky Holskin, as a what's that dude's name? Shinya Aoki. We'll put you on the fight card. We want to sell some tickets. We're not really going to give you top 5 contenders, or we're not really going to give you a championship fight. Because he had it and he lost it, and he hasn't been able to make his way back. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm like, I don't buy it. I don't buy these kind of posts. I know he's trying to kind of like, market himself so he can actually get the fight, but make it a realistic fight that's worthy for the people that's involved. That's just where I stand. If this fight does happen, I think Bakhtin completely ruins his whole career.
Good, thanks, brother guy. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any on that one. We'd be very interested to know. Well, we'll keep moving to Nico Carrillo and Luke Lesse. You're calling for this one on X. Also alluding to the very important fact that Nico Carrillo, who usually has a size advantage, will not have a size advantage in this one. So give us your thoughts on this one, brother Gaia.
So this is Muay Thai that they're referring to, right? Yeah. This is featherweight Muay Thai. I think this will be a crazy fight. And also, I think it's the right fight to make, considering that everybody else in that featherweight Muay Thai division is already locked up into a fight. Tawanchai has got a fight against Nabil. Who's Tawanchai getting now again? Liu Mingyang. Superbon's got a fight up against Masaki Noiri. Ampara's taking on Shadow. Nico Carrillo's number 4, doesn't have a fight. Smoking Joe's number 5, doesn't have a fight. Luke Lesse won his last fight in a very good fashion. And he's still ranked outside of the top 5, which I think is kind of weird. He should be getting that number 5 spot. And he's super deadly, bro. Like, he's super, super deadly. I'd love to see him compete more frequently. I think the featherweight needs to have a lot more fights. Like, a lot more fights. You see a lot of strawweights, a lot of atomweights, a lot of flyweights, a lot of bantamweights fighting. We don't get the featherweights consistently competing up against each other. Like, as soon as it gets into heavier weight classes, it's like they fight twice a year. If you're lucky, you might get twice a year. You know what I mean? If you're really lucky. But like, let's be honest, Nico Carrillo, we've watched him fight once in the last year. Before that, you know what I mean? There was a time where he went on a streak and then not fighting anymore. So, and these guys are young, bro. Luke Lesse is not even 32 yet. Nico Carrillo, I think he's just under 30. Like, these guys can fight a lot more frequently. It's not MMA. You know what I mean? Yes, they're taking more shots to the head. But if we've seen fighters that are pet them and Yodek pet for 2 weeks ago, now they're gonna fight this week. You know what I mean? These guys the recovery time is so insane. They can compete so many times, right? But yeah, I'm in agreement with Tetsuya for this one. I think it's a fight to make, purely because you need One Championship needs that division to be more frequent. You can't just have Tawanchai fight against Superbon every single time. Like, come on, we're getting bored of that now. There's so many other contenders in that division that can be more dangerous to Tawanchai and Superbon. I think Bampara Kuyate fucks them all up. You know what I mean? So I'd love to see this fight happen, because it will get movement. It will definitely get movement for the division. Because then once the champions are done fighting their fights, I can go, okay, cool. Carrillo just fought against Luke Lesse. They went to a mad split decision fight. Carrillo won that fight. Ampare just fought against Shadow. He beat Shadow in a 2-round KO. You know what I mean? There's movement. Now we can put all the top 5 up against each other again. and keep the round robin moving. So yeah, I'm all in with this one. I'm in agreement with Tetsuya. Book this fight now in 2025 still.
Let us know your thoughts on that one in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. But now it's time to get back to some serious business. We spoke about this one last night, PG. Very
Yeah.
briefly, it is Shimon Yoshinari versus Jaosuayai.
Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, again, we did kind of speak about this last night, so don't want to spend too much time on this one because again, you can check out our live recap from yesterday if you do want to get our in-depth thoughts on that. But yeah, PG, just very quickly, anything you'd like to add from last night's episode, maybe?
Yeah, no, just like I said, then the fight, and I just saw this rankings that was unofficially made.
I got them here.
Okay, cool. On Tetsuya's account, and I see Shimon Yoshinari is actually just outside the top 5. Look, they ranked number 8. And yeah, I'm all for it, right? We got Assam John taking on Kong Torani, Superlik and Nong O, Rotang and Nong O. Nakrop took a devastating loss, so he's probably trying to recover still. And we know that Asadullah Aman Ghazali, if he's fighting against Pan Payak this week. So that's a liquor. I'm at the movement for the top 10, right? That's what I want to see. Even though this is unofficial rankings, we are seeing technically top ranked fighters moving in that division. Shimon Yoshinari I would say he's kind of jumping the line over Akif Kulazada, but Akif Kulazada also for 19-year-olds only fighting once a year, which I think is too little. Right? Shimon Yoshinari is fought 3 times, twice this year already. So I think that jumping the lines a little is actually like warranted. And if he doesn't get Jaosuayai, which I think is the fight to make, then give him Nakrob. Give him Nakrob. You know what I mean? Either one of those two would be a great fight for him. But personally, I want to see him fight Jaosuayai because I think Jaosuayai is actually a big threat. I think he can pose some good threats against Shimon Yoshinari. But I don't think he will win the fight though. But it will still be a very good fight to watch, regardless. And please book it. Chowdhury, Uncle Chowdhury, please book that fight, my bro. You have to. Shimon Yoshinari is something that if I'm an investor or if I'm a big partner in one championship, I'll be like, we need to take this EWA Sports Gym, take those fighters out of there, and we need to get them on cards frequently, bro. Because they will challenge the cream of the crop when it comes to the Thailand fighters.
100%, yeah. Both divisions around them, bro, because they're all looking like they're going to be champions at some point. So, yeah, definitely. I would say, I mean, I know that one championship doesn't really do it, but I would almost try to protect him a little bit. Try to create. He already has this aura about him. I mean, this, like you said, all the Iowa sports guys, but especially Madaka, and Shimon and Yuki Yoza. They seem to have like this aura about them. So you want to kind of preserve that and possibly create international superstars with this. If you play your cards right, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You could really create international superstars, which, as we always said, one championship could always use more of.
Yeah.
But let us know your thoughts in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. Is there any other thoughts that you had on these unofficial flyweight Muay Thai rankings, BG?
I wish we could get more of these unofficial rankings for all the divisions because it's better than looking at the website's rankings. Much better.
Your boy Tetsuya, bro. It's got to post one of these a week.
One of these a week.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, just to come back to that conversation, that thing you just mentioned about holding a superstar out of these Japanese fighters, like if you know the name, the monster, Inoue, boxing, five belt boxing champion, whatever, right? He's starting to become recognizable to the United States. Like the US boxing organizations are starting to look at him and go, you know what I mean? If Teddy Atlas and all these old boxing legends are saying he's pound for pound next to Terence Crawford, and he hasn't fought really in the USA, what does that say? You know, and the USA have been sending fighters over to fight against him in Japan, and they've all been getting whipped. Not decision losses, like he's knocking them out. So a point I'm trying to make is there is a route, you know, to the public eye for the Japanese fighters that are stuck at K1 or they're stuck at Ryzen or they're stuck at Rise Kickboxing as well. Or maybe even in one championship. If one championship claims to be this global stage for kickboxing and Muay Thai, then I would say let's start investing in these Japanese guys. Because look what happened when you win. Even though they had to what you call it? What's what I'm looking for? Refund the 173 tickets. The buzz was still generated around the world. People still lost their shit for that fight card. At the end of the day, like they were still blown away by the Thailand versus Japan or this is the world versus Japan. Like people lost their minds for that narrative. And I think that's actually a good marketing sign, in my opinion. Like look at that and then run with that. You know what I mean? I mean, because again, if you look at how the Shimon Yoshinari, they like the Iwa Sports Gym, and I know you mentioned Yuki Yoza. He isn't from that gym, but the style is very similar. Yuki Yoza is from Takeru and Noiri's gym, but they still fight very similarly, right? The only difference is they producing kickboxers, not Muay Thai guys. Still very similar style. That style is like movie quality type of stuff. When you watch it, you're like, dude, I'm literally watching a choreographed sequence happen in front of my eyes. That's how mad it looks. So I think one championship should stick to that kind of selling market because it's gonna save the organization, and that will people will tune into that more rather than like finding a US MMA guy and then taking it to the US. Like that's not gonna work. Yeah, hopefully they're gonna focus on building up a card around these Japanese fighters.
Indeed, indeed. And if you have any thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, let us know them in the comment section. You should know whether that is by now. I'll ask you every week. Give us a comment there. So please give us a comment. Let us know your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. But if you have made it this far, thank you as always. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Got more content coming so you can watch the podcast every day.
I watch a podcast every f***ing day. Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan. Brother Gaia, it is that time for you to sign us off while I do the necessary, please, sir.
Absolutely. So just to give you guys some information on what's to come, like Adrian was just saying, new content every single day. And if you have been following the channel, you know what's coming up next. But if you haven't, you can expect a nice young preview for the UFC Fight Night Baralio versus Imavov, which takes place this weekend. But that preview will be around tomorrow, which is Wednesday. And then Thursday, we're also going to be releasing the One Friday Fights 122 preview. Then also the usual time slot at 2:30 on Friday, South African time. We will be doing a live watch along of One Friday Fights 122. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, have a very, very good week. If you haven't had one so far, it's going to be good going from here. And you will catch us from myself and all the Fighting with Friends on the next video. Have a good one. And we'll see you on the next one. Cheers, everybody.